everyone. Welcome to Hang Outlander 206. This is for Outlander's 6th episode of the 2nd season, Best Laid Schemes. You're here. You're watching that Normals Hang Outlander. I forgot what we were called. I'm Beth. I'm Beth. And we're talking about Outlander. Yay! We're here with Hypeable tonight and a extra special guest who you'll meet in just a minute. I'm Beth. I'm having some Pinot Grigio that my husband had to open for me because I'm useless. I don't understand. I can't do anything. Like, I can't lead this talk. I'm having trouble with that, too. But I'd like for our guest tonight to say hello. So, Laura's from Hypeable. Laura, say hi. Tell us what you're drinking.
Hi, guys. I'm Laura from Hypeable, and I tonight went with Brendan's Irish Cream, not to be confused with Bailey's Irish Cream. I guess it's its poorer cousin, but okay. I don't know. Anyway, my family brought me hot fudge sundaes like about 30 minutes ago, and like wine and ice cream didn't seem like a good combo, so I went with the dessert drink.
Nice. We're so glad you're back. Kyle was supposed to be here tonight, but he had a very LA excuse why he's not here. So we're glad you're here because we haven't had you since the first episode, and it's been wonderful getting to know other people, but it feels like home.
Yeah, cross my fingers for Kyle, hoping he breaks a leg.
Yes. Everybody say a quick little prayer for Kyle tonight.
It's anyway. Good things. Andy,
say hello. Andy's our special guest tonight. Say hi. Tell us what you're drinking and who you are.
Okay, so I'm Andy, and I just started reviewing things for TV After Dark. Yay! And I'm drinking, what am I drinking? Oh, this fabulous Napa Petite Syrah from Vincent Arroyo Winery.
Ooh.
Dang.
I'm super posh, and I have my wine shipped in from California.
Oh, you do?
No, I'm not actually posh.
Andy is, I'm sure many of you know who she is because she's very recognizable and she has been around in the fandom for a long time, and we've gotten to know her, and so we're so glad that she's here tonight. We'll talk a little bit more why it's good for this episode when we get to it, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's special.
Amy, say hi.
I'm swallowing. Hi, I'm Amy. Well, actually, I'm drinking a cab from our local vineyard, so I'm a bit more posh than Andy because I know the people who made this wine. Fancy.
You are fancy. East Coast wine, so it's probably terrible.
It is.
And you know them, and you can just tell them that to their face.
I know.
Watch this later.
It's not that it's bad. It's just not my favorite kind of wine.
Yeah.
So, and I know that my dog has peed on their grapevine, so maybe that's causing the problem. I don't know.
That's disgusting.
I'll do it.
That is very local. That's like if your honeybees, you know, they say you should only have honey from like your local honeybee man because then it has all of the flora and fauna pollen in it that is good for you.
Allergies, right? You
right.
Be allergic. Yeah.
So
this is like my Benadryl. This is Benadryl.
There you go.
Right here.
And if not, we're just going with that.
Yeah.
I'll go. I am Becca. I am drinking, I don't know, something red that was down in my kitchen. It's my last bottle of wine, which means I have to go to the wine store, which is just really annoying. And before we forget, tonight we have a very special sponsor, and that is the company Lithographs. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Lithographs because they have an Outlander shirt, and then right at the beginning of the year, I think, in January maybe, Christmas time or something, they introduced their Dragonfly and Amber shirts, which you can see here. I'm going to assume that's Jamie, and that is Claire, and here's a Dragonfly, and I'm modeling
time, a clock,
yes, all the things. And the great thing about their products is that they basically print the entire book. I don't think it's the entire thing. On whatever you get with their print, because they don't just have shirts, they have other things. Beth, would you like to model another thing that they may have?
They have this. This is the Dragonfly and Amber tote bag, which I have in my little.
Is it in like a black color? Black.
It is black and white, yeah.
Yeah. So I've got green, and we've purchased other products. They've got a lot of tons of other things, literature pieces.
They have scarves now too.
Yeah, they do. And one of the good things about them is they are made in the USA, made in Massachusetts, and your purchase sends a book to a community in need. So yay for Lithographs.
And I am really sad because mine rubbed off, but at BEA this weekend they were doing tattoo chains, and so they have tattoos, literary tattoos. So I had this really cool one It was right here, and it made me very excited because I think that's where I'm going to get my next tattoo. And you can only see it just looks like dirt. But they have so many different products. So anyway, Nikki has something to. Do you have it right there, Nick?
No. My question was, what chapter is on your boobs right now?
Oh, would you like me to read it? I can't read it. Then, as the making up his mind, you guys get it yet? Are you that big of a fan?
I think that it's pretty early on. Yes, Mother, really. Did you have to say, my, how you've grown when he answered something? He has a very nice bottom, too, I remarked, just to keep her going. I noticed when he bent over to get the whiskey. That's early on.
Yeah, very.
I can't read it upside down.
It's really gross, Claire, by the way.
If you're bored on the train, you can just read your shirt if you are wearing lithographs. They're from Alice in Wonderland, and it's gone. But it was wonderful.
Yeah. So tonight, Lithographs is sponsoring our podcast. I mean, yes, they will be, because this will turn into a podcast whenever we get around to making it one. But we mean our Outlander. Had a little too much to drink tonight. And we always give away a product. What is wrong with me? Why can't I speak?
English is not her first language. Be kind to her.
We always give something away to somebody that's live watching us, tweeting with us. So tonight, you will be able to get your very own T-shirt T-shirt?
Yeah.
Becca's not gonna wash it. So
yeah, it's this one actually. And
there you go. It comes with sweat.
To have the essence of Becca on it. No, it'll be a brand new one. Brand new one, a size of your choosing. Yeah.
So tweet us and talk to us.
Excuse me? Yes, so tweet us and talk to us.
Tweet us. Please do. Use #HangOutlander.
Nikki is manning the tweets. And speaking of Nikki,
I'll go. I'm Nikki. I'm back. I've been gone for a couple weeks. Last week was my birthday. I'm 21 now, guys.
Yes, she can drink.
I can legally drink now, but I'm having water. So I'll see you guys on Twitter, and hopefully you say something, and I'll tell everyone what you said. So
we're good with the words today. We have really good words. We're like Trump. We have the best words here on Outlander.
We love the words.
Did everybody? Yes, everyone said hello.
We did.
Yay! All right, guys, now it's time to do our one-sentence summaries of this week's episode. We like to give everyone a kind of quick glimpse into how we felt about the episode personally. So everybody gives us a little one-sentence summary of best laid schemes. Who would like to start? Andy, you have one.
I did have one. Claire tries to stop 2 revolutions. That's my sentence.
Mine is, every time I'm in the early stages of labor, I too like to jump in a bouncy carriage and try to save someone's life.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Mine would be, in what universe do 10-year-old boys actually stay put when you tell them to?
Good one.
That is a good one.
Mine is, I just finished watching it a half hour ago, and I can't remember anything other than the comp being really angry at the guy shooting the gun. So this will be good for me.
Amy, do you have one?
Sing me a song of Jack's punctured dong.
She officially wins the internet tonight. We're not going to top that.
I'm not even going to say a one-sentence summary because what a letdown it would be.
Well, we have your feelings on the episode.
We do, because I wrote 10 of them down on
I didn't read it.
In a recap post.
I didn't read it yet because I literally just finished this episode. I finished it at 9:24. It's 10:10. I started last night and I just didn't get to it. I've been away. Sorry.
It's okay. I would say that this is my second favorite episode of this season, but I was very unhappy with the disjointed part at the end of the episode. So that's how I felt about it. If you read my recap, you know that already. If you've been commenting on how I'm wrong about some stuff, I commented back. So you can go read those.
Well, I think I've been at least sort of keeping up with like our group text that we have with our Outlander crew, and then like seeing tweets and stuff, and I feel like that has been a big consensus across a lot of people. Like you can't deny that was a very good episode. I did not finish it last night because I was bored. It was 12 o'clock and I was exhausted,
Yeah.
I think. But
well, let's get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's vomit out of the way, because really my only problem with this episode was the last probably 10 minutes. And I felt, without doing any kind of book spoiler, my simple feeling was that we cut away to Claire being with Louise, and that felt out of place 100%. And the tension was really, really high for me when Fergus was in the brothel, knowing what was going to happen. And then they gave us this great shot of the red coat. You know who that red coat has to belong to. He's the only red coat British soldier that we know that's in Paris. And the door slams in Fergus's sweet face, and you thought, oh no, I can't believe this is happening. And then it was just Claire talking to Magnus or Marcus or whatever his name is. Claire trying to get the truth from Suzette fourth hand. And it just fell apart for me. Then we hit the duel, and we're in the middle of the duel instead of seeing the beginning of it or seeing how it happened, seeing Jamie blow up, what caused the duel. I know we're going to get that information in flashback form next week or in some way next week, but it really, really, really fell flat for me. And I just was like bummed that we got this big tell, don't show moment when it could have kept up with the tension that was already there.
Yeah, I would have liked the two Louise scenes to kind of have been synthesized together. I think you made a really good point there, because they split them apart. I think.
What was the first one?
Didn't they have her visiting them twice? I thought, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I could have watched that last
didn't
night.
cut.
Like it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was two, right? And I remember
Split it
thinking,
up.
yeah, they could have just put it as one visit. We did not, like, we know she visits Louise. We know she's getting bored. Like, you just could have, put them together.
And was that even necessary? Like, I mean, I can't remember. I've clearly forgotten everything.
Like the urchins in the streets of Paris. Like, we know she's frivolous. We know they don't care. I don't know what that has to do with, other than, like, we know they're, it's not like they're down at Hôpital des Anges with her. Like, I'm not sure what that was about. I'm wondering if something else was on the cutting room floor because of that.
Yeah, I think that they did put some stuff on the cutting room floor. I read an article with Matt Roberts, who wrote this episode, and he said that this really cool scene where I think maybe this episode opens with, this sounds so fucking cool. I was like so bummed they didn't put it in. But he has Jamie in a car, modern Jamie, dressed modernly, in a car with Jack and Frank in like a dreamscape. And they're I guess they're figuring out, like, talking about Claire. I didn't read it closely enough to like figure out exactly what the scene was, but that he wakes up, like he wakes out of a sweat or whatever, needing to go to Claire and tell her what he tells her in the beginning, which is, you need to be with a man who loves you. Right.
Which would have been better than like, don't touch me, oh, I hate you. And then they cut to the two of them and he's rubbing her feet. I'm like, so he's over it then?
Yeah.
I know where I was going. Time passage? Maybe.
Yeah.
It was so weird. That was what I didn't like in this episode. Like, they hated each other not hated each other, but he was really mad at her at the end of last episode. And then, the first time we see them together in this episode, he's like, I love you.
Yeah, they were sleeping in different rooms mad. Like, that was the level of how mad they were. They were sleeping in different rooms.
You couldn't read the size of her baby bump to know that now all of a sudden this amazing amount of time had passed.
Yeah.
Wait, were we really supposed to think that?
I have no idea, but she did not have a baby bump like that in the last episode.
Right.
Well, it's all the time changing, but they didn't make that any obvious at all.
I didn't think time changed at all. I just thought she suddenly was, like, the next day her baby popped, and then also it just started kicking at 8.5 months.
Right. Logistically, Randall would not have been in the Bastille for, like, 3 weeks or 5 weeks or in a month, however long it took for her bump to, he wouldn't have been there that long. It just wouldn't have happened. Like, it's an unfounded claim. Jamie was in the Bastille over the same thing for one night, right? So it wouldn't have happened. But if it did, if that's what they wanted to say, we had a commenter on the blog say, all they had to do was have Myrta say, we've been waiting 5 weeks for that bastard to get out of the Bastille, and now he is. Mm-hmm. So now we can get this duel underway. I would have taken one small line of dialogue to fix that problem. They didn't put it in. And why make Claire's belly so gigantic? figure out how big her belly needs to be at the beginning of the season and work it out per episode because it just looked ridiculous and nobody knew what was going on. So I agree. It just would have been so much better if they had worked in that scene somehow. I mean, it would just been a show you might be interested in. Like, what the hell is going on? Jamie's in fucking modern clothes hanging out in a car with Jack and Frank. That just sounds so fucking cool. And
that would have been great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to see that.
That would have been great.
It can sound kind of lame and cheesy, but I think that it could have been done really cool. And the fact that they didn't do
So
anything.
did they actually film it, or was it just an idea that never actually made it to being filmed?
I think based on what I read that it was written and logistically they couldn't work it out, which is just is shitty. I mean, they work out a ton of shit with the costumes and the locations, and it's great.
They can make. Never mind.
Yeah. There's a lot going on in this show. How can we not logistically work that out?
I was just going to say, they can make Lindsay Lohan into twins in that twin episode, that movie, whatever.
The Parent
Parent Trap. They can make Jack and Blackjack Randall in the same damn car.
Yeah.
Well, Terry didn't know what kind of outfit to dress Jamie in because no person on Twitter had told her what it looked like.
Oh man,
That's not a dig at Terry at all. That's a dig at Outlander fans.
That's an outsplaining dig. There's been some outsplaining to Terry.
I love that. That was awesome.
Please, if you missed that conversation, go to Terry's Twitter and watch her just totally decimate several fans who were like, what did you know about season 3? And she's like, well, tell me exactly what Claire needs to have on and tell me what color underwear Jamie needs to be wearing because I can't go forward until you do. It was great.
It was good. Or the barrage of phone calls from people who don't know very much about the TV industry. That's another whole interesting thing. But anyway.
She was really, really great. And I don't give people undue, unnecessary brown-nosing praise, but that made me laugh.
If you're bitchy and sarcastic to somebody, you get our praise.
That's
100% of the time.
98% of the time, we're going to be on your side.
True.
But now that we got that out of the way, let's discuss the great parts of this episode. Andy is with us because the duel was actually really exciting when you were watching it. Too bad they didn't do any of the lead up to that duel, but the duel itself was really great. Jack looked amazing. I don't know what kind of jacket he had on, but I wanted to unbutton it with my teeth. And yeah, it looked really good. And Andy, you were there when it was filming.
Yeah,
let's hear about it.
I was there. So I was in Scotland in August, and then I went back to Glasgow after like some time in the Highlands, and I was like, gee, what am I going to do in Glasgow today? And I was like, I'll go to Pollock Park. And so my friend and I went to Pollock Park, and there were all these signs that said, like, crew this way, you know, like, and I was like, gee, I wonder what they're filming. And then my friend's like, oh, I bet it's Outlander. And then we walked further on, and it legit was Outlander. And then we started to cry. For real. And then we went to, like, where they were filming. We watched the whole thing. Which is why it was so annoying when, like, you know that tight shot of Sam and he's like, Claire! And the sound wasn't there? I was really sad because we actually heard him screaming it over and over again. It was really good. And I was like, no, not there. You didn't get to hear him do it because it was good. That's all.
Did you bring any baked goods?
I brought no baked goods. But I would like to give a shout out to the delightful 15-year-old Scottish girl who cut school to hang out there all day because all she wanted to do was meet Sam.
Aww.
Bless her.
Did she get to?
She didn't, but he signed something for her.
Oh,
Were there other fans there?
I felt really bad. No, it was just this girl. And
no,
like,
I mean, were there other fans there besides you guys?
No.
Oh, wow.
Literally, there was like nobody around. There were some people that like were like, oh, like hanging out with they saw the extras who were all hanging around, and they kind of like put their arms around them and like were taking all these selfies, which was hilarious. But there really weren't other fans there, which I was really surprised about because you would have thought that word would have gotten out like throughout the day, but it didn't.
Right, like the Twitter sphere would have blown up or something with the details.
And been like,
yeah.
Pollock Park, come now, but no, there was
Right.
really nobody there.
Lesson to all the kids: skip school because that always turns out great when you go to a set.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh,
Not really.
not at
But
all.
I'm
No,
glad you
never-
have that
never
experience.
possible.
That's once
It
in a
was actually-
lifetime.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was excited.
It's like reminiscent. For some reason, as you're saying that, it reminded me of back in the Twilight days. Everything goes back to Twilight. Back when Rob Pattinson was filming Water for Elephants.
Say
there used
Pattinson again.
What did I say?
Rob
Pattinson?
Pattinson.
Was that his name? Oh. There used to be. I just always envisioned. I don't know if I saw pictures, but like they didn't ever get in to see anything, but they knew where the exit was, where he'd come out every night, and they'd just hang. For like they had shifts, right? Isn't that how it worked? So I was just envisioning like
they had like camp chairs, and they knew when they were there the entire day for literally 2 seconds of them driving by and then driving back out, doing a little maybe a wave.
Literally,
Okay,
people would
not.
go for weeks on end, over and over again.
Imagine how bitchy and pissy Reese Witherspoon was because of that shit.
That's your favorite activity, to imagine how bitchy she is.
Because 0% of the people were there for her, and she's like an Academy Award-winning bitch of an actress, and so she's probably just like can't even contain how mad she is at Rob Pattinson for existing. Because of that.
Yeah, I don't think they got along.
No, every interview from that movie that she did, she was like, Rob snotted on me. It was so funny, but I hate him.
Oh my.
Anyway, that's totally what I was envisioning the entire time you were talking, Andy. I was like, Andy's one of those people in a camp chair waiting for Rob Pattinson.
Andy, we have a Twitter question from Joanna Kuhn. She wants to know if Stanley Weber was on set at all.
He wasn't. He wasn't there. It was just Tobias and Sam and the Roman. I don't know how to say his name. Barreau. The kid, yeah. They did the that like horse scene where they were like riding towards ruining everything for the comp. So we saw that and we saw the duel. And that's pretty much it.
Another question from Twitter. The Cold Woman wants to know if it was mostly Sam and Tobias doing the fighting or stunt doubles.
It was all Sam and Tobias.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
That's
Follow-up
awesome.
question.
Kudos to you,
Was
stage combat.
Was it all sped up or was it slow? Like, was it normal?
No, it was really fast. They were really going at it. It was like real time.
Were you there? Did you see the? What I forget. I can't sing it. What did you say, Amy? What's the line you used? The actual moment of the ball puncturing.
Punctured his dong.
They did that, but the dong puncture with the blood shot, they didn't do that shot.
Yeah,
that's there. That was
so clearly Jack or whatever. Yeah, Jack has like 9 lives. Like he's not going to be dead. I don't know if he's dead, right? He's just like at 1 ball is down.
1 ball down.
I'm gonna go that he's got a Sun Also Rises going on after this. He's got intact balls but no dong.
Oh.
Which
I just assumed it was the balls, but I don't know. What bleeds? What would happen? Everything?
By the way, if you don't know that, in Sun Also Rises, the hero, he has no dong.
Oh.
But his balls are there, so he feels all the desire but can do nothing about it, which just makes it so horrible. It's so good. Read it. It's the only good Hemingway. Go read it. Anyway, so what I didn't like about that scene, let's talk about the dong puncturing scene, because I was really pissed off that Jamie seems to accidentally shiv him in the scrot, when the truth of the matter is that is a purposeful, decisive move on Jamie's part to kind of take back his manhood from Jack after the rape and all of that. So why do they keep doing this to things that have to do with Jamie, where he gets to be the man he's supposed to be and it's gone?
Right. Well, and also, if I remember correctly, part of the book lore of that, too, is aside from exactly what you said, Beth, he had also promised Claire not to take the life. And in his head, he was like, okay, I won't kill him, I'll just maim him. But the reason he wasn't supposed to kill him was so that he could reproduce. So it doesn't matter, he screwed it up anyway.
Also, I didn't think it was super obvious that they punctured him in the balls. Like, maybe I don't know the anatomy well, but I don't know. I was like, oh, they just hit him in the stomach or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that, so that's why I knew that.
I think Tobias's face sold us on exactly where he got hit.
It would hurt a lot if it was the groin or the stomach, too.
It was more the, I don't know. I just think the face sold exactly where he was hit.
I get what Nikki's saying, though. Like, if you didn't know that that's where Jamie punctured him, and it's quick when he does it, and then they just show the blood coming out, and you're not aware enough of the costuming to know that that's the crotch of his pants, then you might not know that that's where he got hit. And that's another, like, again, it's decisive. Jamie does it on purpose, and we lose that in the way that they did it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine or hope that they will make it more obvious in the next episode that he'll be able to say, oh, I did that on purpose.
There's a couple things I think we hope to be more obvious, and I feel like we need to have a real quick spoiler conversation because I have a question that I need to have answered, and I can't wait.
Okay, spoiler.
Immediate.
Moment.
Spoiler. And maybe this isn't. Nikki, you kind of sort of know what's happening, so this is a good question for you, maybe. What happened with Fergus in your mind?
I literally don't even remember what Fergus
So Fergus
was doing.
going to
like,
sniffing the cologne or perfume in that room, and then you see the red jacket. That's all, and then the door shuts.
I think I must have been looking at my phone. I'm sorry, because I don't even remember a red jacket.
Okay.
It was so quick.
It was so quick. You're right. That's very, very true. That could have been missed by people.
You know what, though? Speaking of Fergus, I loved how they used him for the whole storyline of poisoning the wine, and because in the book it's a lot more convoluted, and it's this very bizarre tale of Jamie and Murda on a ship, and then who's replacing who. I just love that they really utilized Fergus for all that. I mean, that was a book-to-screen change, and I thought that worked really well. Plus, I feel like with Roman Barreau, they just lucked out with this kid. This kid is amazing. I think he's like a really decent actor, so I kind of liked that change.
He was so good.
I know that some of you have read some of the background that, like, the producers or whatever, Matt Roberts has said. Are we going to see what we didn't see? Are we going to know what we didn't know? What's a question? Mickey doesn't even know anything should be questioned right now.
You didn't need to show what was going to happen to Fergus. We didn't need to see more of, rapey town. You really could have even just shown Blackjack's boot as he walked in, or him saying something to where you could really make that connection.
Yeah, they should have shown him, like, going up the stairs, because I can now imagine what happened, and that's disgusting, and no one wants to see that.
Right, of course, they shouldn't show something like that.
Right.
But or if they show it, it'll be like I don't want to say it's a fade to black, but it would be a limited point of view.
But I don't remember if it actually happens in the books, or if it almost happens and Jamie interrupts.
Well, he cries out, and Jamie, like, comes in.
But Claire hears about it because Claire figures it out from.
Fergus tells her.
She pulls it out of him, though.
I think we'll find something. My guess is we'll learn something next week when we find out what the hell they were doing in the first place. But I don't.
In the book, she eventually. Yeah, she eventually gets it out of him because she knows there's something wrong. But that's not the tale she thought he was going to tell.
Well, also, okay, I've seen yes, we see more. We're going to see Jamie pull Jack off of him.
Okay.
I mean, I think that for me, I don't need to see what Jack is doing to Fergus. I need to see Jamie's reaction to what Jack is doing to Fergus.
I just don't think, I think it is too confusing and, like, nobody understands the duel, and maybe that's their point, but also don't know that I think they could have done something to make it more obvious. I think they're thinking. Yeah, see, exactly, Nikki. I don't know that's a normal reaction. Right.
Yeah.
The duel was because of whatever happened to Fergus. I gotta watch this again because I didn't.
Because clearly,
that's the point. It's that you don't have any idea that that's what's going on. You have no idea that happened. I mean, it's so subtly inferred with that jacket and the door shutting, and then you get the next even hint that you get is Jamie's letter to Claire that says, "I'm sorry, I must," which is in reaction to Fergus. I mean, yes, it's Blackjack specific, but he probably would have dueled any man who was on Fergus in that moment.
Oh, absolutely.
And we got the build up to Fergus being so great in this episode, so being so honorable when he tells Jamie, and the last thing he tells Jamie is to guard your right. He's stepping in.
That was so cute.
Yeah, he's stepping into Murda's role, into Ian's role.
Yeah.
And Jamie is looking at him as a man. He said, I was right to leave my wife in your charge. And then for him to be impugned upon in the worst way by the worst man that Jamie knows, the fact that we lost that drama and we can't even pull the threads together that it happened unless you're a book reader is it's such bullshit. Like, give us the drama. Because next week, it's going to be rising action to what happened. Or it's going to be flashbacks at the end once some other stuff happens. And we're going to lose the thread of that drama altogether. And that is bullshit.
Yeah, because especially since you're adding in Claire clearly having a miscarriage, and you're just going to lose all of this. So what was the point?
Yeah.
Of any of it? And it's not, whatever. That sucks now that I know.
All right, we're done spoiler territory. I'm writing down the time we did that for our podcast, but it was like 3 minutes spoiler. But no, and it's true. And I mean, it's also interesting hearing what you just said about the baby, too, if we want to talk about that real quick, because I think...
it's obvious what's happening.
Right,
I mean, I think you'd have to be stunned not to think
But also, why is she not, like, taking care of herself? Because because she's not stupid and she has to know. She did lay down that first night that she's bleeding and she lays down at the Aetna hospital or whatever they call it. And I was thinking to myself, as a woman, like, as advanced as we've come, even today, childbirth is the most dangerous thing we put ourselves through. Still, today. I mean, obviously we have all these advances and things that can save us. But if we were in a zombie apocalypse tomorrow, we're in that same exact position. Hoping that something's
clean. She knows that.
We're not somebody's uterus that's going to detach.
Right.
And she knows that. Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, she's aware. I know she is. I remember from the book, she's aware that she's in this she doesn't know what her body's going to do in childbirth. And that's why I just don't understand why she then is so stupid to put herself at further risk.
Yeah. It made me angry that it made me angry that she went and did it. Like, she clearly knows. She has to know she's having a miscarriage or something terrible is happening, and she still goes out there. Like, for once in your life, stay home and put your legs up in the air.
For her, though, at that point, it's her primary focus, and I think she says it a couple times, is that Frank is innocent in all this. Frank is innocent in all this. And I think it's real. Frank.
Her baby is innocent in all this.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's not a choice. I'm just saying, but that's her choice that she's making in this.
But she's late in her pregnancy. She knows even if she's miscarriaging or even if her body's rejecting that baby can live. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't get.
Although I wonder I'm just thinking, so she's a woman from like 1945, as far as medicine advances, and then for them, like, at a certain point, realistically, what other than bed rest, what could she have done?
She needed to stay home simply just because once she gets there, she can do nothing. Now, granted, she probably thought that she was going to make it in time to stop it altogether, and when she got there, maybe she realized she couldn't. But really, logistically, like, she's no idea when he left, not really, and he's obviously been gone a while because the servants are there, and they're like, he left, he left hours ago. There's nothing she can do. Mm-hmm. Why does she feel the need to, like, run off and Joan of Arc everything when she's obviously in distress and her baby's in distress and there's stuff going on? Like, it's like the worst decision ever, but she's always making terrible, awful, useless decisions.
Right. Well, that was something that I brought up in my Well Actually article, that Claire's not perfect and that it's okay to criticize her as a character. And in this moment, I don't like her. And it bugs me that she doesn't care about protecting her child. And it bugs me that she doesn't seem to really care about protecting Jamie. She really just cares about protecting Frank, who's innocent in all this. But like other people have brought out, how many other people keeping Blackjack Randall alive? Okay, that allows him to terrorize how many people? She's going to run you over with her cart going crazy, because those people are innocent. They're getting ready to die. You're trying to change history. How many people are going to die because you've changed history?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's a good point, too, because I feel like if you're going to talk about, like, a fatal flaw that Claire has, is that she very frequently dives into action without always thinking all of the consequences through. And sometimes that can be, like, a really good thing, but that is definitely her act first, think later seems to be a thing consistently with her character, which, you can have a love-hate relationship with that kind of
Well, it would have been a lot less dramatic had she stayed home. Let's just throw that out.
I was just writing down an idea because I was just thinking about, I like how you said that, Amy. Like, we can still like a character, but yet they can be really deeply flawed. And I think I forget that sometimes. I say that all the time about shows that we like or books that we like. Like, I'm allowed to criticize this and still be a fan. Like, I believe that. But I have to adopt that same mentality, I think, about a character. Like, she is a human. She's making very terrible, horrible decisions that I really don't think I would make in that situation.
But the thing is, you can like someone or dislike them for making bad decisions. It's the thing about it with her is that she keeps doing this wrong thing. Like, she hasn't learned from anything. She hasn't learned to trust Jamie. She hasn't learned to stay home occasionally. Like, I don't like someone who doesn't eventually, evolve as a character.
This is something I didn't understand either. Okay, I don't know nothing about birth and no babies. Like, she has blood down to her ankle.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's these white stockings. I have blood down to my ankle. And Mother Hildegard's like, it's fine, it happens. And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
No.
I'm pretty sure that
Not
that is
that
an
much.
awful lot of blood, and that doesn't just happen.
No.
Just
Spotting,
spotting would,
maybe.
but not that much. Yeah.
You would get a
It's like-
very little bit of spotting in your underwear. So for Claire, it would be like maybe on the back of her shift, a little bit of spotting. It would not be, and dark red blood, mad.
No, that would be like
No, I
David
was like-
Robinson.
I was like,
Yeah.
Mother Hildegard is understating this. What are you doing to me, Francis de la Tour? You're
And
ruining
Mother
me.
Hildegard's her face, kind of, when she said you're staying here, and then like there was the camera went to her face at one point, and you could tell she was worried. So I was thinking in my head, okay, this is when this thing is going into motion, the baby's gonna come soon, whatever. But then she went home. I didn't expect her to go home. Again, I don't remember what happens. I was just like, okay, I do remember this is a thing. She's very worried. She's telling her to calm down. And then she sent her home. Like,
Yeah, I mean, that's just in service to the story, I think. And I think that the blood is in service to this, to the visual medium, that she needed to have more blood for the audience to see it. The glance into her pants is just so that they're not having to, like, take a long look at her cervix. But I think that, not that we couldn't see Katrina Bau's cervix at this point, we've seen everything. But I think that it's just, it's in service to the story. But if that was for real, ladies, do not take this show as medical advice. If
Yes,
that's really going on,
Go to the
dark red blood down to your ankles, go to the hospital.
yeah, something's not good.
Heidi on Twitter, our lovely Heidi, says Claire's fatal flaw is that she's selfish.
Yes.
Mm.
Sometimes, but not consistently, I would say. But yeah.
Yeah, I would say that she definitely is more often than I
Mhm.
want her to be.
Been in the show probably more so than she is in the book,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's
I mean,
true.
and you can turn around with Jamie too. I mean, the old, sort of the cliche on Frasers are stubborn, that you do see Jamie sometimes is sort of needlessly pig-headed sometimes about things. So they each have something that's just, there.
I see that Sam Hewen's hair would like us to
Yeah, I was
move on
just
to
about to say.
Can we move on to the
I
hair?
was just retweeting him.
He asks.
But see, why do I find Jamie's
Uh.
pigheadedness and stubbornness hot?
Because
Claire's
he's a man.
super
I don't know.
annoying.
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like
the thing.
I feel like he's pigheaded and stubborn about things that are right, and she's
Yeah.
pigheaded and stubborn about things that are lame.
Or just like making the wrong decision. Like the women were annoying. Whatever. You're just sitting around having a gossip session with your friends, and then you're that person who's like, "Did you guys see the dead people outside?" Like, there's
Yeah,
a time and a place for those
Debbie Downer.
conversations. And obviously, like that is the time in history when there was such a huge discrepancy between the rich and the poor, and like she's seeing this and unknowing what's going to happen with the revolution. Right, the revolution has not happened yet.
No, like 30 years from then, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So I get where her head is, but like they're talking
Social
about sex
cues.
between the right, exactly. Text? Did I just say text instead of sex?
We'll be
This is
taking
text
Becca to
rep.
detox right after this episode.
Yes.
Hang
I'm
out.
leaving, Frank. I'm just so tired. Oh. No more talking.
People want us to talk about something positive, like the comp.
Yeah, let's talk about him real quick because I thought during the little truffle, the little whatever they're
Truffle
fighting
shuffle?
on the floor. What's the word I'm thinking?
Kerfuffle?
Tussle. That his wig might fall off, and we might see what's underneath that wig, but it didn't happen.
Please do. It's terrible.
I like
Awful.
the Master Raymond scene about the
Yeah.
you know, when she goes to warn him. You know, and I think it's fair if you're a book reader or not a book reader to say that it's like so clearly obvious that Master Raymond knows so much more than whatever he's saying.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I really enjoyed that scene. I think Dominique Pignon outacts the script that he's given. Like, he has such a depth. I really enjoy him a lot.
Yeah, and I honestly don't really remember where that's going, so I think but yeah, I agree, Laura. Like, obviously he knows something. I kind of sort of am guessing where it's going, but I do
love
really
it. I love that they have these these actors and these kind of side roles who are so beyond overqualified, and they're just like tearing up every little scene they're in, and you're just like, can we have more of that? Like, what's happening with the real story
Even
here?
like Magnus the Butler is awesome. Like, you know,
He's great.
You know, like Hollywood scenes, it would be like, oh, that guy over there, he looks hot, throw him in, he's a butler. You know, like they have some, as you said, really good quality people in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even the executioner, I felt like his scene was so good, and
Oh my God.
so irritated with him at the same time. Like, he's like, okay, guy, we got like how long you're telling her friends are gonna die. We get it.
Well,
but it was still a really good scene, and it felt like it was like stripped out of the book. Like, that's such a Diana Gabaldon scene. Like, let me talk about drawing and quartering for an hour.
Well, you know what though? But I like that because the thing is that it is a very violent world, and obviously we've seen violence in a sexual violence way. We've seen it with just sword fighting, but the reality is if you died, you were getting hung, or you were getting hung, drawn, and quartered, and then they'd kill you. Like, this is what was considered acceptable and normal. So sometimes I think when people say, oh, is it too violent? No. This wasn't nice, calm, lethal injection world. This is what they did to people and thought it was just fine, you know?
Yeah, and it makes a difference too. I mean, that's the one thing that the Louise scene like kind of puts into your head, is that there's like ladies in the street dead, and Claire's like, isn't that horrible? And the lady's like, yes, they should have to go to the ghetto where I don't have to see them. That makes much more sense. And that's ridiculous and terrible. And you know, like, the French Revolution's coming, and all of those ladies are going to die horrifically. And you're just, at the same time, we're like, it's a different paradigm. And Claire is us in that way, that she gets to be the one who like puts modern sensibilities into that world. And she needs to be reminded sometimes that it's bananas, and that she doesn't get to be modern Claire all the time.
Well, and I think it's just a reminder that it took that to become modern. You know what I mean? Like, everything that our world has experienced has built up to the people that we are today. I mean, we are who we are in 2016 as women because of what women have done and fought for before us. So I feel like she's like expecting everyone to have this mentality of a woman from 1945. You know what I mean?
Leap on the bandwagon.
Maybe Master Raymond time traveled and told her that Donald Trump is the Republican nominee, and was like, maybe you guys aren't so great after all. Can we talk about my favorite line of the whole episode, which was when Blackjack says, how does she forgive you during the duel? That was so cold and so brutal, and it just shows how deluded he is. I thought that was the best line of the episode.
And yet at the same time hits exactly where Jamie's like hits him. It hits him right in the grief bone, right? Like, that is Jamie's kind of like Achilles heel about that situation. Is that, and he just hits it right with one comment.
I love it because it's all about control, and rape is a crime of dominance and control and power, and that comment is all about control and manipulation.
It is, but it also is what Amy just said about his delusion. I think that he thinks that it was real in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he thinks that Jamie made love to him.
I mean, he believes it, even though he knew he was controlling it and that he didn't want it. He still believes it.
I had to drive to Boston today, and it took me a couple hours to get there, so I listened to Hamilton on the way, and I kept hearing I kept hearing King George sing and think that's Black Jack. He's like, you'll be back, you will see, you'll remember you belong with me. And I'm like, that's how deluded he is. He's King George.
I'm going to mute you. I've never listened to anything from Hamilton. That was the most If you do it again, I'm muting you.
They should have had the 10 dueling commandments on this week's episode.
What? That was my whole recap, girl.
Oh, you're right. I'm drunk. I'm sorry.
Stealing your jokes.
I rewrote Hamilton lyrics for this
You did?
episode. For
Yeah, I'm
Myrta.
gonna read it now.
Show did.
Once you said that Myrta agreed with me, and then I was like, I don't hear anything else. All I hear is selfish shout-outs.
Myrta killed it this episode.
He did.
Yes.
Awesome.
He was
And
Once
great.
again.
Flirting with the little chambermaid, like whoever, I guess that's Claire's
Hating
maid.
his outfit.
Oh my God, that
like,
was great. With like the lace stripping off him, that was awesome.
Myrta's the worst person to like try to convince the comp that they're French aristocrats, like killing the wagon. He's so fucking Scottish. You know that like the comp is like, this dude is not French. I don't care what bandana you put on his face. And he kept talking. Myrta kept shouting in
Right.
French. And I was like, he knows you're not French.
That was ridiculous.
Seriously. I just wish we would, I mean, we're never going to, but I would really love to know what Duncan Lacroix looks like underneath all that hair. I mean, I know it's very to the book, and they talk about Myrta being the image that he is portraying, but I really wish I knew what he looked like underneath all of that.
I
Is
think
that a
his
wig?
headshot. I think his headshot
Man.
is clean shaven.
They
Well,
tweeted a
I've
picture of
not
him
Googled him, so.
at the premiere.
look.
They tweeted a picture of him at like the Scotland premiere.
Mm.
He looks good.
Wow.
I'm curious. I'm gonna have to
You
look
that
because I was
way?
like, I mean, but it's also impressive. I mean, if you think about it, he's got like his eyes. You don't get like, subtle facial expression underneath that very heavy beard and mustache. So I'm curious what else is under there. Dum-dum.
Hey.
Balls
There
are
you are. What'd you say? Balls? Balls. And
Oh
dong.
my God, he looks totally different. If this is him,
Somebody just tweeted that Myrta's face should have its own social media account. Oh,
Yeah.
hello.
He's very handsome.
Oh,
Yeah,
doesn't look like him.
I'm telling
well.
Add some balls
That's
and a dong to
insane.
that. You got Myrta.
Oh, right then. Okay.
Yay.
I think that I forgot what I was going to say.
Hello.
Nikki, hello. Whoa. Whoa, Myrta.
So, that would be that Myrta ship I'm on now. Okay.
The SS Myrta.
So people wanted to talk about the sexual tension
Yes.
between Tom and Jamie. Or
If you, I mean, honestly,
it was like
if you
dueling jawlines.
if
Dueling jawlines.
you don't want them to like rip each other's buttons off and like just go at it in that moment, then you're not human. Like that is exactly what needed to happen in that moment. You need to just kiss or rip each other's coats off.
And it wouldn't surprise me because right now I'm reading a book that Beth recommended to me. It's a book that's not out yet. We might talk about it at some point, so I won't say what it is. But I haven't gotten a book recommendation from Beth in a while, so I forgot that sometimes and often it's not just a straightforward male-female romance. And suddenly, a chapter in, I'm like, oh, the roommate's joining, and that's what's happening. So yeah,
I
I
don't remember
didn't.
that in that book.
What? So I'm in and they haven't done anything yet, but the guys are enjoying the girl, but they're about to enjoy each other, and that's all I was thinking when I was looking at Jamie and Comp, as I was reading this book that I was not expecting. Just
yeah,
suddenly
that's
become MMF.
Wow. I forgot that it was a menage book.
Yeah, it was totally menage. I thought it was just like a cute romance about a bad boy turning good for a girl.
Honestly, like all I remembered was, ooh, I really, really like this book.
But
So
I don't
note to
want a
self,
menage.
with
No
Beth-
menage. Because Claire will just fuck it up. So you
Yeah,
stay.
no, that would be terrible.
No, I'll take the menage. I'll take the Comp and Jamie sandwich.
All right.
We don't need Claire involved in that at all.
Why don't we kick Claire out and put Myrta in?
Wow.
Master Raymond, the king.
The king. I'll take him.
Except he's having
All I
people
can think
drawn
about
and
is him on
quartered.
the toilet.
Whatever.
He's on the toilet for me forever.
And he likes to get people drawn and quartered, so that took down the hotness level a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
that
that's
was
why
good.
he's all
So
impacted.
His
cute.
fancy hands. I liked that.
This is a good one because I kept wondering this too. Karen on Twitter says, why didn't the comp just pull bandana off? End of raid. Like, he literally could have just gone, hey, Murtaugh, what's up, buddy?
I think he's supposed to be a little bit farther away than he looks. He's up in the
Yeah.
wagon.
It's
Well,
an optical illusion.
he literally could have hugged him.
I just hate the whole plan. Like that the comp wouldn't figure out that smallpox with his shipment is not exactly what Jamie and Claire did when he met them, and then he's just going to completely ignore that that's still happening. He's going to
That
figure it
sounds
out.
vaguely familiar. Yeah.
It's never happened before until he met them, and then all of a sudden it's happening again, and Jamie's like, gee, isn't smallpox contagious?
Yeah, right. Speaking of other characters, too, because I have to say that Charles, as a generality, kind of annoys me, but I did really love his moment of being like the worst thing that could happen to him is that he would get shipped off to Poland and he would commit suicide because he was sent to Poland. I roared laughing at that. I thought that was hilarious.
What is going on in Poland in the 18th century? I don't even know. I have no idea.
Sorry,
was
Polish
like-
fans.
I was like, okay, so that's the worst that could happen to you. Poland, good to know.
I mean, aren't there worse places? Like, he could have been like, the Americas. I would have believed that. I would have been like, yes, that probably would totally suck. Virginia was the worst in 1745.
Yeah, seriously. But I was like, Poland? Okay.
He'll have to learn how to say "mark me" in Polish. Did he do that in the books? I don't remember him being all
No.
mark me.
Oh, really?
I want to mark you.
No. Well, that's the thing I get. I mean, he certainly plays, like, I feel like he's very, clearly delusional, and he's on this, spoilt, entitled, the divine right to rule thing. I just don't understand, like, how he charmed anybody the way he's portrayed. I don't get why Louise was with him when she could have had anyone. What was she doing with him?
And her
Why?
husband's real hot.
Like, I'm
God.
like, this is who you sleep with? Why?
You ready for the Poland explainer?
Oh,
Yeah.
go.
Well, actually, did somebody say, well, actually?
He said, well, actually, his mother's family is from Poland. Yes.
Is this a joke explainer?
Did they really say, well, actually?
Yeah.
Is
And
it somebody in quotes? Congratulations,
Oh,
you are.
hashtag
Give
get
that
out.
person the shirt.
Winner.
Winner, winner,
Thank
chicken
you.
dinner.
That was great.
His mother is Polish? I didn't even know that Poland existed then.
So he just hates his
Dude.
Polish relatives?
He hates his mother.
Apparently, they're worth committing suicide over.
No.
I'm going to have to go get a spoonful of peanut butter because I have the hiccups.
Oh my god.
Bear
What
that.
do we do with her gone? You weirdo.
Oh, yeah.
This is
Oh,
obviously
here's
a
good
Southern
question.
cure. I have never heard of this before.
I've never heard that before either.
Well, that's a good question, Nick.
I have another good question from Twitter because I was wondering this too. So why did they give Jamie fake smallpox if in the end he didn't have to show it to St. Germain's men?
No, they were just testing it on
Testing it.
Jamie.
Yeah,
make sure
but why
the
did he have to
injection
test
worked.
it? They just want to make sure it worked?
To make
Oh,
sure it
that's
worked.
terrible.
But then
Because
you
it
know,
was funny
Oh.
watching him like have an upset stomach.
But she put it on, she put it on directly on his skin, and then they just put it on the coat. Like, I was like, okay, this is far-fetched. They should have tested it exactly. How did they know that that was going to work?
This show is far-fetched? No. I would have never thought that.
I felt so bad for Jamie in that scene. Who wants to, like, have the shits on purpose, like violent shits? Poor guy.
But then he had to go out and talk to Murtaugh, and I was like, isn't anyone worried he's going to shit himself?
And we haven't talked about that yet. When Murtaugh just smacks him and said, you should have told me back then, or whatever. That was awesome.
We have to talk about Murtaugh writing down all the dates that Claire lived. What the hell? Why?
He's
He
like,
wanted to practice his penmanship.
1918.
It's like,
1919.
congratulations, you too can count to 28. Like,
What the hell was he doing?
Wondering if there's like a code in there. He's code breaking, like the Bach music.
You know, and then she picks like a random number and was like, "This is the year I became a nurse." I was like, "It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter."
No one cares.
I know that Jared has a lot of money or whatever, but pen and ink and paper was like a commodity. You didn't just fuck around with it all the time back then. You needed to like save it for letters and shit. And he's just writing every year down for no fucking reason. So bananas.
You're right, because that becomes very key in like season 27 when Bree learns how to make toilet paper.
Well, actually. Jag.
You guys peanut butter does the trick because I was about to vomit. I'm okay now.
Alicia
Sorry.
says that Myrta has really good handwriting.
I was partially.
Yeah, why would he have that good?
In fact, Jamie's handwriting reminded me of Edward's "Be Safe" letter. Anybody else?
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Totally did.
Be safe.
Be safe.
I'm sorry, I must.
Sorry, I must. Yep.
Sorry, I must totally disable your truck so that you can't go to the wolf reservation. Sorry, I must go kill the man who raped me.
Same thing.
I must.
Samesies. Oh,
Can we
goodness
talk about
gracious.
how hot? Oh wait, so you remember when Stanley Weber? I'm sorry, I can't get over him. He's so hot. So when they were in that confrontation scene and they both like simultaneously got up, I was like, did they have to rehearse that, or did it just happen? And then like the director was like, keep it, print it. We're not doing it ever again. Like that was my fantasy. I was like, I was having this directorial fantasy where the two of them like stood up exactly the same time. It was hot.
Where they were so in tune with each other because they were having sex the night before that they were like, "Bajam!"
Exactly. That was
Well,
totally
Jamie
it.
was all cleared out after having all that cascara, so he was.
He was ready.
You know, you gotta prep for the butt sex. You gotta prep.
That's right. You
There's
can't go straight to it.
Now there's been 2 scenes in the show where they've had the like TGIF like ABC family like Bonnie Prince Charlie. They say the same thing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, when they were
remember
both like,
that.
Sandringham.
Sandringham. That was it.
Yeah.
Sandringham. Oh.
Ugh, the worst. It really is awful. It's like, it's super cheeseball. Oh, and here's the thing I wanted to say again about this episode. Why it felt disjointed and what we wanted to do. Matt said that originally this episode and next week's episode were one episode.
Oh, wow.
And that they had to split them up. And that's why they lost the car scene, and that's maybe why the duel is so shitty. I don't know. But it's interesting to see how that's going to play out next week and see if it...
That would have been a lot of info to try to put into one episode.
You could have lost a lot, too, that, you know... Like Jamie and Mercer are out there talking in the courtyard for 100 years. The stupid, like, numbers that he's talking to Claire about, dumb.
The ladies
Louise,
scene, yeah.
stupid.
The ladies scene.
The long-ass, like, dude talking about withdrawing and quartering, not necessary.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good scenes, but they're not, like, necessary to the plot.
I mean, my gut is also possibly is that I feel like next week's scene is sort of Katrina Balf's For Your Consideration episode. I think that's why. That's my personal take on it.
Well, I love Katrina Balfe, but we'll see.
Secrets.
I know next week starts with her in some sort of dreams, like fugue state that you can kind of see she's getting into at the end of this one. She's in some sort of weird, you know, I just lost 2 pints of blood through my hoo-ha.
Right.
So she's in like a fugue state, I think, at the beginning of next week's episode. So we'll see. We'll see.
Do we think she's going to imagine Jamie, Frank, and Blackjack Randall in a car together?
They're playing poker Friday night.
Doing it with comp.
Oh my God.
Doing it.
Can you imagine
Whatever.
a triple threesome with 2 Tobias Menzies?
That's
Can
like
I
some
imagine it? I
weird-
just
Yeah.
did.
That's not the first time.
Especially because he's totally kinky.
Yeah.
You know he is.
Yeah.
100%.
What did he say to him? Hey, vous!
Oh, that was
Oui,
my favorite
vous.
line. When you
Yeah, I
said
love-
what my favorite line was, I thought you were going to say when the comp goes, hey,
Boo! I love how it's like, hey, you, in the subtitles. I'm like, really? So we're talking?
Oi.
Too much fun. It was good. It was
All right, so who do we have as a winner for tonight's sponsorship? Oh, gosh, I'm not allowed to talk. I don't know why you just let me talk for a second.
I'm
Don't
gonna
you?
announce it. I'm gonna
Thank
take
you.
over from.
Thank you.
Tonight's lithograph. I can't talk either. Special winner goes to D for her. Well, actually, his mother's family is from Poland.
Yay, Dee!
You win.
You win a t-shirt.
Please DM
Yeah.
us so we can get your address. Oh, and actually, I just DM us your email address if we don't have it.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure we do.
Yeah, I'm sure. we
That's
will.
excellent, you guys. Good job.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Thank you to Lithographs for being our sponsor for this evening. And again, once again, you too could have something from Dragonfly and Amber across your breasts,
Or hanging on your arm.
or hanging on your arm, or over here on your side. I can model my spandexy pajama pants if you want.
Look how big it is. This would hold a lot of stuff.
Yep. Lots of fanfic goes in that bag. The
right.
fanfic you're going to write about the comp and Jamie.
All right, you guys. Next week we have the girls from My Outlander Purgatory are back with us. Carol and Tracy will be back next week for episode 7, which is entitled Faith. And we're very excited about that, you guys. We will miss Laura. We will miss Hypable.
It's okay.
I'm gonna cry. Hold on. Andy, thank you so much for joining us this week.
Thanks for having me.
We're so glad you're here. And Amy, as always.
And
All right, guys. Good night. Until next time.
Until next time, Outlander.
Good night.